great crowd on hand already. Sean Phillips Jr., Trevin Brazil, the former Mizzou Tiger, who wins the opening tip. And here come the Hogs getting the start. DJ Wagner in place of Darius Acomb Jr. for the first time this year. An impressive win for Arkansas, protecting the home floor by 20 against Texas back on Wednesday night. Wagner gets it back, 10 to shoot. Long two, and he trades it. Meanwhile, for the Tigers, the starting five, the emerging T.O. Barrett running the point. It has been a blessing for head coach Dennis Gates. Martin Mitchell on senior day, second year here in Columbia, leading the charge once again inside, and it drops for Trent Pierce. Seventh different starting lineup for head coach John Calipari, with DJ Wagner running the point, John, and we see him there now again.
I think making that first shot's really big. You've got to adjust to a different responsibility on the floor if you're DJ Wagner. At times, he's just in the corner all by himself. Now he's got to run the show.
Outside of Brazil. Couldn't get the bounce. Mitchell racing down the floor after the rebound by Phillips. Open look, Jaden Snow. Who wants it? Malik Thomas does, a freshman. Phillips on the floor. And the arrow given to the Tigers. John Calipari, year number 2. Second straight campaign in Fayetteville with 20-plus wins. They went to the Sweet 16 a year ago after an incredibly slow start.
I would say earlier this season, I had this team earlier this year, and I looked at him and said, oh God, there's good potential, but there's another couple gears in Darius Acomb. And throughout the course of this season, we've seen them, and the ceiling just got lifted. I mean, through the roof. This is a program with a player in Darius Acomb who can do anything in college basketball. That includes making it to a Final Four. He's that good. Getting him healthy is key, and allowing these other guys to develop and understand the responsibility of managing the game, that's also huge.
It's a left ankle injury for Acomb Jr. He's been dealing with it going back to the Auburn game. John Calipari gave him the option to sit out the following couple of games. He said, no way. And Barrett is going to turn it over. Dennis Gates leading the charge for the Tigers. You see Darius Acomb Jr. on the bench in year number 4. And he's got Mizzou to the dance 2 times already. They're going back this year, John. I know that they're technically on the bubble, but they're in position, even with the loss today, where they should be safely in the field.
I think they're a dangerous team, particularly given the length and the intensity with which they play defense and the way they attack offensively.
Lock inside, and Pringle, they're going to count the bucket on the goaltend. Well, Mizzou, we mentioned it right from the jump. With a win today, the lowest Dennis Gates' squad will end up in the SEC tournament, will be a 5 seed. A win today combined with the Tennessee loss against Vanderbilt on Rocky Top, and then the Tigers, John, they get the double bye. That's a big deal.
That's a big deal, but the scenarios in late season situations are entirely exhausting for me. It's just too much, for real. And then we get into NCAA tournament resumes based on scenarios. It's a lot.
I tried to make that graphic as simple as
that one was good.
could.
That was good, but they could be anywhere from 4th to 10th.
Yeah, loss and everything changes, and you mentioned a 10 seed would be devastating. The block and the save by Billy Richmond.
I think Billy Richmond's going to have an impact on this game, and frankly, he has to on both sides of the ball. His offense has been much better.
Great look to Brazil, twisting, turning, and finishing.
I mean, if you don't have Darius Acomb, you've got to have other playmakers. Not one guy on the floor can beat Darius Acomb, so you have to create space so all your guys can impact the game by playmaking.
Barrett going to be hacked by Wagner in the paint.
Mizzou's got to do a better job of just getting good offensive possessions. This is not a bad look, but the defense is there, and then it leads to a run out and an easy opportunity. Again, like, you don't have to be Darius Acomb in your playmaking abilities. You just have to do it within what you do well. And that's something Billy Richmond's developed as a scorer. But the more you develop as a scorer, the more you draw defense, the easier it is to make plays for others.
Barrett described 79%. Well said by you. And you wonder, like, internally with Acomb, how bad did he want to get out there and play today?
He's been playing.
Right.
Right? I mean, that hasn't been the case with everybody in the country. That's been a big conversation. Hint, hint. I'm just saying, this guy's a dog. And if I'm looking at draft boards, I got to think about the guys that want to be out here and want to compete.
Wagner to Brazil. A-Cup been playing on that bum ankle for several weeks.
And playing darn well, too.
Played so well, you couldn't really tell that there was an injury. Brazil and a chance for 3.
That's where Trevor Brazil is so tough. You know, can space the floor. If you can drag a 4-man out around the perimeter, it just opens up the game. Wide, no defenders on the block, no defenders in the paint. The paint's wide open. His versatility becomes his advantage.
He had arguably the dunk of the year over Modest Vocatitis Wednesday night against Texas. And in the process on senior night at Bud Walton, put up a career-high 28. Now, if you tell Arkansas fans we're going to get that kind of production throughout March Madness, they're going to be, well, extremely happy.
Well, it's a different look when A-Cuff's on the floor for Brazil. I mean, he's able to just kind of move without the basketball. The game is almost set for him.
Good start for the visitors, leading by 5. Phillips Jr. left wide open. A spin, that'll work.
And that's where I like the idea of Arkansas sags, forces the shot, but the second he puts the ball on the deck, you've got to engage and get tight. You can't allow him to gain ground and get to 5 foot right shoulder left hook.
Phillips shooting 69%, a robust number this season. Richmond like a wide receiver, fantastic grab, and in traffic's going to be bumped. Well, 3-point lead for the visitors, and coming up, don't take our word about Darius A-Cup Jr. Listen to what Sean Miller had to say.
How did he do that?
Without a three-point line.
I think, too, and I think this is fair to say, we have done a disservice. We in this profession have done a disservice by hyping guys so much that when we get a dude of substance, we can't really pay it off. And I think that's where we are. This is a guy who has just extreme levels of substance within the game. He will move, manipulate, and just mold the game the way he wants it. That's why I think if I'm an NBA team, I'm taking him first. He'll make anybody I have better, and I think he's CP3 with an even better game.
He's a better shooter than Chris Paul was, right?
Or game, he is more consistent with what the game is today. So buckle up and get behind him. I wish he was playing.
It's like a punch in the gut yesterday when Pete Thamel broke the news. T.O. Barrett with a pass. And the reverse. What a finish.
And they get the ball back and the crowd is alive. That was special. I love when they kick the ball out of bounds after a great highlight so we can watch it back. That was spectacular. You know, when Trevor Brazil has a big dunk, you say, just kick the ball out of bounds. Let's take a few looks at this. That's remarkable. What a finish and a good play to get your crowd into it when you've had some tough offensive possessions to start.
One possession game, 5 minutes in. Barrett assuming the starting point guard position in place of Anthony Robinson. Poked away by Richmond, and a turnover gives it back to the Hawks. Richmond, saved by Pierce. He thought he was hammered on the dribble drive. Mitchell, and a chance for 3.
How about the fact that he went up with the left, gets hit, absorbs the contact, finishes with the right hand. Bit of a circus shot, but that's kind of what he does. He uses his body, creates contact, absorbs contact, and finds a way just to get it up on the rim.
Big numbers going back a week ago in the midst of a 3-game winning streak. 3 the hard way. Mitchell, his second year here, the Duke transfer on senior day. Thomas the runner, no. Phillips turns it over to Brazil. Wagner, rebounded by Pierce. And Mitchell stepped out of bounds.
You just see it happening.
Why does that happen so frequently?
Because players on a pump fake, they take a step back to push off the back foot when you really should be ripping through and using your pivot foot. Now, the reality is, if you watch the higher levels of basketball, they let anything go. And I don't think we're training good instincts when it comes to fundamentals. It's happened a lot this year. Also, we're trying to space the floor more and more so you get further and further out, which leaves you less room to make that move.
Against the zone, Wagner for three. And the stick back by Brazil.
That's the challenge with the zone because Brazil's coming from the perimeter. Shot goes up. There's no one there to check him out.
He's got 7 of Arkansas's 13 points. Coming back to Columbia. Mitchell left open. And Wagner able to stay in bounds. Back against the zone. You like this switch up by Dennis Gates here?
I do because you got a player, DJ Wagner. What was that?
Was that a jump hook or a lob?
I mean, the ball was in the rim when it was touched.
We'll count the basket, 15-11. Doug Shows, Rob Rourke, Patrick Evans. Our veteran officiating crew, and a block by Brazil. Richmond, Thomas. Doesn't take long for Arkansas to get out in transition.
Well, not when you take corner threes that become misses and runouts. And you've got to be careful. If you're T.O. Barrett, you've got to manage the game. So you have to understand when a possession needs something better than that.
Richmond. And a quick burst by the Hogs. An 8-0 run after we were tied at 11, and Mizzou had a chance to grab its first lead.
Alley-oop, goaltending, I don't know. I thought it was obvious goaltending, but Arkansas is on a roll. I think DJ Wagner's done a good job managing this game. Yeah, I have no idea. But on the other end, if you're T.O. Barrett, you need a good possession. It can't be a careless turnover, pick six, easy dunk.
Story with you, I talked to Trevin before the game.
Yes.
And I was on the call Wednesday for the win against Texas back in Fayetteville. And I just said, Trevin, that is the nastiest dunk that I have called in person with the slam over Montespoca-Titus. And he smiled. He said, really? I was like, yeah. And he kind of walked away. That was it. It wasn't a big deal.
I bet you helped validate him.
For some reason, I think that probably did not occur. But I felt good in talking about it.
He's like, thanks, dude. Who are you?
Yeah. I was like, hey, I called the game Wednesday. Okay. Mitchell with authority.
If you have the space, Mitchell has the advantage on offense, and they spaced the floor wide enough where there was no help and allowed an ISO opportunity for Mark Mitchell, who's going to have his way.
Through the back door, Malik Ewan checking in, and a kickball keeps it on this side in a fresh 20.
We get excited about the outcome of a lot of plays, but what I get excited about is the space they have. See, no one's there. Why? Everyone's spaced well. If you space well, you make the game easier for your teammate. If you space well, eventually your defense has to adjust, and the game inevitably gets easier for you.
It's because you're a basketball nerd. I get excited with the dunks. That's all I care about.
Why do I have to be a nerd about it?
I mean that the best way possible. Ewan bottled up by Trent Burns.
I accept the nerd alert every now and then.
You like to give out the nerd alert a lot, too. Ewan gets Burns and 7-5. Ewan somehow got it back, puts it in.
Why does 7-5 look like a target? Like, there's just something about it. You're 7-5. Everybody just wants to dunk one year and go at you.
Good luck trying to do it. Barrett, no. And a box out work that pops into Thomas's hands. As good as Darius Acuff Jr. has been, Malik Thomas has been really good this year too, and maybe a high first-round pick by the time it's all said and done. We'll see. Ewan. And the putback, Brazil. Lob Suey again. We saw it Wednesday and again here in Columbia.
I think the biggest point to make is Brazil's doing this from a versatile position. He's not in just one spot where you're easy to check out. He is a difficult guy to keep off the offensive glass because of how much he moves around the perimeter.
Already in double figures with 11. Inside, no. Ewan clears. 12-2 run for the Hogs. right at the rack, and Ewan's bumped. He'll shoot 2.
So much activity, just flowing with the play. You flow with the play. No one's there to keep Trevin Brazil. Clearly, they were not present for the conversation that you had with Brazil talking about how great his dunk was. Maybe they do a better job of avoiding it.
So here comes Malik Ewan at the stripe. Florida State transfer, 73% at the line this year. Big day, big evening here on ESPN. The final Saturday of the men's regular season rolls on. Plenty of rivalry matchups. Florida heads to Rupp Arena. Gators and UK at 4 Eastern. Carolina Duke tonight at 6:30 here on ESPN. And in primetime, the Iron Bowl of basketball. Auburn, Alabama live from Coleman. Texas Tech without JT Toppin travels to BYU to tango with AJ DeBonsa. Could be the #1 pick in the draft. And BYU Red Raiders playing well right now with Christian Anderson kind of doing his thing.
Yeah, he's had to take on a different level of responsibility, and he's done pretty well at it.
Stone for 3 off the mark. It'll stay on this end.
I have to commend Arkansas early in this game, and particularly DJ Wagner, for just managing. He was aggressive. He hit his first shot. I think that helps find confidence early. And then you get comfortable. You start to move the basketball. You realize he's on the floor with 4 other capable basketball players.
Cal was standing right next to Darius Acuff Jr. there and giving him some instructions. Maybe asking him what he's seeing. Wagner. He's seeing DJ Wagner step into his big shoes and play very well.
That's where DJ Wagner can be good. Just be strong. Get guys on your body, finish out the transition, move the ball simply. You don't need to be Darius Acuff. No one else can be.
Jacob Cruz, short on the 3. Tracked down by Phillips. Nearly turns it over on the pass. Robinson for 3. Jaden Stone watches that one carry him out of bounds. Back to Arkansas.
I like that Jacob Cruz gets in there and seeks out every shot opportunity he can get, but it's got to be a good one. The defense doesn't have the same respect when you take a bad shot. When you get a good look, the defense moves. The game changes. So make sure you take good shots. Make the defense adjust to the best shooter on the floor.
Tigers have missed 7 of their last 8 in the midst of this Arkansas run. Brazil heat check. Is there anything worse as a shooter when that happens?
I think when you airmail one all over the rim and it just slams into the backside of the backboard.
Looks bad.
Or potentially the wedgie, the one that just gets shoved in between the rim and the backboard. That's just embarrassing.
It's embarrassing.
Had zero chance of going in.
Right, right. Just saying wedgie on national television feels weird.
It's true.
Shot clock down to 3. Stone waving. And an offensive foul is the call.
I quickly thought that was going to be goaltending, but I think they got it right. There's the hook. Plain as day, good call. Did the wedgie thing bring up bad memories of a tough lunchroom in middle school?
I mean, maybe it did, but that's neither here nor there for today's broadcast. Second foul on Jaden Stone. He had a good memory. So give and go, no look delivery. Thomas, the hesitation, and the 3.
That's just good stuff. I mean, ball's moving around the perimeter, gets sent down low, kick back out. Thomas, I would have liked to see an inside step footwork, but he still got his feet set, shoulder square, and made a high percentage 3.
First 3 of this basketball game, 28-13. And inside, Mitchell was hacked.
You know you're playing well when I start criticizing footwork on a made shot. Well, look at this good ball movement. Then it gets kicked back out, pump fake. The extra step is what I would avoid, but it made it anyway, so what am I talking about?
Deal with the John Crispin.
Pump fake, inside step. It's a quicker release, and you don't allow that secondary defender to get back over. That's my point.
I like it. Thomas shooting 46% from deep as a freshman in SEC play this year. Where's the offense going to come from on this end for Missouri?
I think it's got to start with creating space and a smaller lineup. Maybe Mitchell at more than 5. Give him room to do just that. He's going to physically dominate that matchup if he has room. But if you occupy the block with Phillips, he's got less room to work. Remember my term, block-occupiers?
Yeah.
I think it slows the college game down.
Barrett got a fingertip on it. The turnover.
Oh, boy.
And the finish. Best hair in the SEC. I don't think anybody can argue that.
Yeah, no, not a chance. Here we go.
Cruz tracks down the miss. Twice by Brazil. Big possession here for the Tigers. Phillips full head of steam, and Brazil clears. Swipe by Cruz, and there's a foul. (28-17). Mizzou Arena on its feet. Work to do for the home squad here in Columbia.
Game's changed a lot, with NIL and free agency in college basketball. A lot has changed, but what hasn't is March. And what hasn't is what the season represents as we lead to March. It is finality. I think that's what we get so excited about every year. Conference tournaments that lead to March Madness, it's finality. And I think that's what's so exciting this time of year.
Last foul was on Jacob Cruz going out to that last break. Brazil already with 11, make it 13. He's already at his season average in the return back to Columbia.
And he can do it at any level. I think that's what makes him so difficult now. I mean, he came into college as a high flyer, a dunker, and he's really developed the game.
Over the back was Pringle. That's going to be his second foul. So the 14th foul on the Hogs. Missouri's coming off kind of a strange game and a setback at Oklahoma, 80-64, and it was a game and a rematch where here at Mizzou Arena, Dennis Gates' team basically had two buzzer beaters to kind of right the ship in the early part of conference play, and OU got its revenge. Kind of a little bit of a lingering effect from that game, what we've seen so far today. Here's trying to change it. Brazil couldn't grasp the rebound, and Richmond can. Thomas off glass, silky smooth.
It went in. I'm not sure it was the best decision, but it did go in. Just a different group. I think when DJ Wagner, I finally get one to go. When DJ Wagner has the ball in his hands to start the possession, they've run good offense and gotten good shots. The last shot by Thomas, I look at that more as fool's gold.
First three of the game for the Tigers. It comes from Mark Mitchell. Thomas, the response. That was a lightning quick release.
That was the inside step I'm talking about, though. He pump fake, one dribble, inside step, right into it, in rhythm, high percentage three.
Thomas with 12. Brazil with 13. No Darius A-Cup Jr. today. Trying to get that left ankle healthy before the tournament. Second three for the Tigers, this time from Jaden Stone.
All right, that's big for Missouri, but you've got to get a stop. Nice to see a couple threes fall, but at some point, you've got to lock in defensively. Some teams defend as a team. Other teams, they just understand when they have to guard. Right now is a time where you guard.
There's a turnover. Off the deflection. Mitchell finds a way. Lead down to 10. Here comes a crowd. Offensive foul. The shove by Ewing.
See, Missouri's got to score some baskets, and they've gotten good looks. You get a couple threes to fall, you start to find opportunities in this game. And then, as I said, look, good defenses play good defense. There are times where you as a man on the floor have to guard, and that's exactly what Missouri just did. Created their own opportunity, and now a chance to cut into it even further.
And, John, you could feel the emotion of Mark Mitchell on senior day already with 12 points. Made the three moments ago. Pierce Too strong, tracked down by Stone.
Just get Phillips off the block. It forced a reset, which limits your offense.
Robinson, mid-range.
That didn't happen with Phillips on the block. Phillips had to vacate, get to the three-point line, ball side, to create that space.
Stone bottled up. Tried to no-look dish it into Phillips. Not that time. Thomas. Rejected, and I mean swatted by Sean Phillips Jr. Oh, there was contact to the face. Ewan made contact to the face of Anthony Robinson, and those two are going to have to be separated.
Heating up, brother.
A good job by this officiating crew. Immediately creating separation there.
There wasn't much going on. They're just kind of jawing and hands on each other. Keep your hands to yourself. Not as bad. Little LeBron flop. I like Doug Schau's just cleaning it up, getting control, because the energy, the environment, you're starting to hear it, you're starting to feel it. Buckle up. Great start to a Saturday.
After further review,
Base,
we have a double foul, 12 red, 0 white. They offset. It'll be Missouri's ball on the baseline with 27 on the shot clock.
All right, so the reality is 0, Anthony Robinson initiated the chippiness, we'll call it.
By sticking his face into the hand?
Yeah, a lot of jawing. They've been monitoring this. Look, officials are, it's not just an insulated incident. Let's just call it that. You're monitoring things as they escalate. That's what good officials do. And then you try to deflate situations to allow the game to be played. That is a deflating situation where we're trying to get control of the game so the last 3 minutes plus can be well played. Although it's kind of fun when the crowd gets involved like that.
35-27, the lead was once as high as 15 for Arkansas. Mitchell feeling it. Phillips corrals it. He'll shoot 2.
That was a bummer, though. You get a toss from Coach Green. I listen. Basically, what am I missing? You know, do my job for me. I also think when you're here, it's different, right? So it's good to hear from a coach, another analyst who's seeing it from almost a third-party perspective. 30,000 feet, general flying over the battlefield.
Coach Keats, Tom Crane doing a great job in studio. Always great to hear from Kevin Connors. Tonight, 8:30 Eastern, ABC, the place to be. Golden State and OKC, the defending champs. Ernie, Kenny, Charles, and Shaq will tip off our coverage 8 o'clock Eastern. And we're back after the game to break it all down, plus anything else from what always is an eventful day in the NBA. And now a 9-0 run for Missouri, under 3 to go, and the Tigers right back in it.
Great opportunity getting T.O. Barrett in this game, coming back into this game. Great opportunity to have a good defensive stance. See the basketball, get your communication high, continue to build upon this comeback.
Tigers in search of a double bye in the SEC tournament in Nashville next week. They have to win this game to have a chance. Robinson, the second, clears.
A great rotation by Mitchell.
Phillips tried to dunk the arena, couldn't do it. And Thomas on the other end, no. Phillips get the rebound. Bounce pass, Barrett. Tapped out to Thomas by Brazil. Isaiah Sealy on the floor, and the lob to Richmond.
It's fun, up and down, some missed opportunities, and finally a made basket. Arkansas is able to get set and take a breath.
Haven't seen Sealy a ton this year. Former member of the ESPN 100, the godfather of college basketball recruiting, Paul Biancardi. And he'll get some minutes today with Acuff out. Top of the key, 3. down to 5.
I understand you got a mismatch in the post, but you can't dig down and leave Pierce wide open for an easy kick-out three. That's a mistake defensively for Arkansas.
40% three-point shooter, John. Thomas, no. Thomas, no. Phillips out of bounds. It'll stay with the Hawks.
I mean, I understand you've got a mismatch in the post, but I would rather make Phillips take a tough shot over top of the defender than dig down on Phillips to provide help to give Pierce, a 40% three-point shooter, a wide-open in-rhythm three. In-rhythm wide open means higher percentage.
Hawks call a timeout. We're back in 30 seconds here in Columbia.
Now, step one, go out here, cut into this lead even further, and continue the little momentum that you've found over the last few minutes. Good opportunity for Arkansas to have a good possession.
Wagner running the point. Wagner finishing at the rack.
Just no real commitment to slide over and take that away. And I think T.O. Barrett could do a better job of forcing a bad angle, which makes a one-on-one situation an even tougher shot.
Mitchell's had the hot hand, position down low. And over the back of Trent Pierce, that's going to be an infraction.
Sealy just got face cut. C-man, C-ball, simple fundamentals, right? C-man, C-ball, simple things like that, they still matter, no matter how far advanced the game gets, or devolved at times. No matter how far we go in the game, the simplest of principles will still matter the most. C-man, C-ball in a fluid game, most important.
You could be a coach with that kind of knowledge.
No, you actually have to do things when you're a coach. I can just say it.
Front end of the 1-and-1 was missed. A putback on the offensive rebound. Pierce inside.
Crowd's been great.
Richmond spin cycle to Sealy. Stepped out of bounds. No, a traveling call. Still a turnover. And now Mizzou can attempt the final shot of an entertaining first half.
I think the final shot for Mizzou has to leave time for a potential offense rebound. I think at times we think, let's take the last shot. That means there's no time on the clock when it's shot. No. I think you've got to leave time. You've been effective at getting the defense spaced. Also leave time to be able to attack and finish at the rim. Maybe end up at the free throw line. You're not going to win or lose the game on this possession. But you can certainly keep your crowd involved.
Crowd has been involved and loud from the jump here on Senior Day.
Darius Acuff in the corner, standing up, talking, communicating for his defense.
He's been a coach today. Mitchell, coach that. One possession game at the half. The lead for Arkansas was as high as 15 in our first 20 minutes.
Well, great stuff from Missouri. They started to get some stops on the defensive end. They got aggressive, and then doing just this, allowing your best players to have room to work. Mark Mitchell has room to make a play. Playmakers win the game in a fluid basketball skill-based game.
16-4 run to finish the first half. The picked up right where he left off, and without Darius Acuff Jr., the Hogs have needed every ounce of that productivity. Acuff Jr. on the bench trying to nurse that left ankle back to full strength before the SEC tournament in March Madness. And Brazil continues his hot shooting, now with 16.
Good job by DJ Wagner, too, really coming off that ball screen tight and hitting him on a simple pick-and-pop situation. Now that shifts the defense out further, going to open up the floor for Trevor Brazil.
Sean Phillips Jr. stripped by Wagner, ahead to Richmond. Arkansas off and running in our second half.
Well, it's just like the first half, and it's not something that Missouri should allow. The momentum that they built late into halftime, they've got to be able to capitalize on and continue to ride that wave. It's not good to start.
It was 94-86 2 weeks ago in Fayetteville. Arkansas won that one. Mizzou trying to return the favor. Mitchell, good start for his second half. He's got 16.
Now, if you're Arkansas and you're going to double down or at least dig down, you have to keep him from turning back to his left side. It's something I'm surprised people allow him to do, get back to his left.
Brazil wanted it, thought better of it. Thomas stop and pop. Here's the board. He's got 7 points. Mitchell will feed Phillips. And Pringle right behind him. Called for the infraction. That's number 3.
It's good. It leads to the 3rd foul for Pringle. The battle down low, and I also think this is officials keeping the game clean. If things really heat up early, it just gets out of hand. So again, clean it up early. At the same time, if I have Mark Mitchell dribbling towards me, I am going to get the heck out of his way. I'm not going to occupy the block. Phillips is not a better option than Mark Mitchell. No offense.
And Mitchell, unoffended, fell down but was hacked.
Oh, he's not the one who would be offended. It would be Phillips, and I appreciate what he does. But the best thing you can do as a big when you're trying to create space on the floor is get out, get short corner, get wide, allow playmakers to attack, and then read the action.
Mitchell is the consummate pro and teammate. He doesn't want to be offended for his teammate.
That is true. Like you are with me.
Correct. Pierce, and Hewitt smacks it out of bounds.
Backside defender. Only place he could go at that point was up to the basket, which makes it an easy block.
T.O. Barrett outside to Pierce. What a pass! Trent Pierce knocking him down. Malik Hewitt turning it over. Barrett to Stone, but that was in his range for a moment. And John, you can feel this venue about ready to erupt. Barrett, he'll call that a pass. Lead down to 1.
Feel it all right. Kids and the elderly are off their feet. The students have been up the whole game. They've been wild.
The antlers have been festive over at the zoo. Brazil, no. The box out by Phillips.
Can be aggressive, but you still want a good one if you're Missouri.
Tigers have not led in this game until now. That's one way to do it.
It wasn't a great start to the second half for Missouri, but when they woke up, they got good shots, good looks, shots to fall, good defense leads to good offense. Second chance opportunities, Mark Mitchell being what he is, just an absolute man. And then when Phillips gets out of the way, good things happen. Mark Mitchell draws 2, easy lob, dunk, and Missouri, this place is on fire. I think we're slowly getting there. Good job by a big, not occupying a block and making the ball go to the opposite side. It's good stuff.
John Crispin, Roy Philpott, what is the response from Arkansas? Mizzou on a 25-9 run. About 5 minutes ago in the first half. Thomas off the mark, and it bangs over to Phillips. Mitchell sitting on 999 points in his Mizzou career. Barrett. And Thomas will rip it away from Phillips. Throw it off his legs and out of bounds.
Dennis Gates wants to review. Thinks he was out of bounds, and just looking at it, I thought he might have a point.
Now, Mizzou's head coach had the angle on the view right there on the baseline. There's no hesitation either.
Yeah, he's out of bounds.
The previous action is under review for an out-of-bounds play.
We'll step aside, and Arkansas should turn it over to Mizzou when we come back.
Yeah, I know what you said, but my head is spinning just thinking about all of it. Like, all the scenarios, we said it in the first half, it's like overwhelming.
It's really pretty simple, though. There's a lot of other scenarios.
No, but when you apply that to every other team.
Right. It's a lot.
By the way, Tigers ball.
As projected by your humble announcing crew.
Speak for yourself.
Barrett's out of bounds. I think I'm trying to bring some respectability courtside for a minute, please.
I still believe in humble arrogance.
Define that, please.
You don't want to know.
Oh, my gosh.
I understand how insignificant I am to the big picture, but I understand there's things that I can do well. What do you want me to say?
Very well. Very good. Point blank opportunity for Mitchell. And he comes up empty, 1 point away from 1,000 in his career with the Tigers. Billy Richmond rejected by Phillips. Met with resistance. Step into a three. And Pierce no good. What's happened with Arkansas here recently?
I thought that was going to be a foul, and I was going to tell you. Look, they haven't had good offensive possessions, which means they haven't been able to get their defense set. A little out of sorts. Poor offensive possession after possession, and now they're just chasing the game.
Jaden Stone, no problem at the rack.
One team has made baskets and gotten their defense set. The other one has not, and they're chasing the game.
Richmond tripped up. And a foul was called.
This was a tough finish for Stone. Not much there, just enough of an angle. It gets it to go, but again, to me, it's another made basket. Allows you to set your defense. And what I mean by chasing the game versus dictating the game, the team that scores gets set. They're dictating the game. And when it happens over and over and over again, you feel like the game is running away. It's only a 3-point basketball game, but it feels like it's been controlled by Missouri over the last 3 minutes.
And they have fought back from that 15-point first half deficit. You saw Pierce hobble off the floor after picking up his second foul. 3-point lead, and where's Trevin Brazil? Fast start held in check the last few minutes. Thomas going to shoot a pair.
That's the difference you see in the post with Burns defending. He's got to work so hard physically to not get pushed around where he can't disengage quickly enough to be a secondary defender at the rim. So good attack by Thomas, understanding that Burns isn't going to get over there to take that away, even at 7-5.
Hawks haven't scored a point in almost 5 minutes. That'll change.
Some of the images in the stands are epic. What's the Tiger guy? What was his name? Tiger King?
He's right behind the backboard.
That was one I almost forgot about.
Maybe that's not a bad
Maybe I was supposed to.
Yeah. No matter for Thomas.
I think Thomas and DJ Wagner have to do a good job of understanding the situations within the game, not allowing it to get out where Missouri is dictating it. Sometimes a good possession, it's okay if you miss so long as you have a good possession.
Mitchell won't miss this time, now over 1,000 points in his Mizzou career.
Just give that man room to work.
Sometimes it's that easy.
Yeah, it really is.
Or that simple. Stone.
Wow.
As Thomas connects right over the top of 17. Tied at 49. Malik Thomas started to raise his level of play. 15 on the books, right at his season average. And just like that, call for the foul.
I love seeing shots being made from the perimeter, but I'm going to tell you this. There's one team that has to make tougher shots to stay in this game right now, and it's been Arkansas. They've had to make tough shots to stay in this. Now, don't get me wrong. Missouri needed some tough shot making early to get back into it. Talk about the first half lead. But Missouri's been able to get more in the paint, more at the rim. That's what Arkansas did to get that lead early in the first half. I often say, tough shot making is often fool's gold when it gets down to it.
John Calipari talking this week, looking at the state of the SEC, and he said, you know, the coach of the year this year in this conference, you look at what Dennis Gates has done here at Mizzou and the job this team he's done with this team, getting them back in the NCAA tournament. He says as good as any coach in the league. And Thomas able to tiptoe the sideline, somehow stay in bounds, and pull the three.
A fool's goal can look good for a while too.
Malik Thomas, another incredibly talented freshman, number 11 in the top 100 rankings by Paul Biancardi. He's put up huge numbers this year. Mitchell has as well. We're going to want the goaltend, but Mitchell on the rim attack will shoot two.
And this is tough. This is good defense by Missouri. Cruz is out there. That's a contest. That's just a good offensive player who can beat you off the bounce, creating just enough space to get a shot off.
Thomas perfect from three-point range.
And by the way, Burns did a good job on that last possession. Not really something you need to watch back, but when Mark Mitchell got the ball top of the key, Burns was on the right block. What does Mark Mitchell like to do the most? He likes to go right, spin back to his left, so Burns went to the opposite block. Good job by Burns. Good recognition.
I've heard you say that before, by the way.
Have I?
66% free throw shooter is Mitchell. 1 of 2.
I bet he likes to go to his left.
I think I heard you.
Yeah.
I think America did too.
You're welcome, America.
We'll play hot potato inside of Brazil. And Richmond trying to spot Wagner. They're going to call a foul on the deflection. Robinson going to be called for that personal foul.
I hate to say it, I mean no disrespect, it just is what it is, but scouting reports kind of determine how you play defense, and to Missouri, DJ Wagner's not a threat from three. That's why every defender was on one side of the court. DJ Wagner was wide open.
Thomas, the heat check, and it's money. 5 for 5 from downtown. He's got 21.
Look, it was Thomas and Acuff coming in to talk about the freshman class, and Thomas has kind of taken a, we'll call it driver's side passenger seat, not back seat, with Acuff being so good. So now it's his time to be the man.
Jaden Stone, that's a response.
All right, how do you get Thomas involved again? Because it's likely you foul. He's been so good, you have to get up and take it away, make him uncomfortable. If he's good about it, makes the right decision, he probably ends up at the free throw line.
Thomas, the dump off to Richmond.
So good. So good. Every Missouri player is concerned with what Thomas has done the last few possessions, and then he makes the right play.
Robinson to Phillips. Hauls it in. Sends it home. How about the flow of this game in the last 5 minutes between these two teams?
Look, I commended the officials. I think they did a great job of allowing the game to be played in a really contentious one. Here we go.
Phillips! Stone! Stone stole it the second time around. Sean Phillips Jr. applauding. Mizzou Arena on its feet. And here we go again.
Stone's got blood coming down his face. Not a good one.
Jaden Stone banged up on the forehead. And they spot it. Rod Rourke sees it. And they're going to call a timeout as a result.
This has gotten loud. I think you were trying to say something. This place was going nuts. I only listened to you 50% of the time anyway. I didn't catch any of that. This has been terrific. Stone getting the easy steal. I think he hurt himself on that play. But look out. Thomas has been the guy. Arkansas's had answers.
We're going to show you how Jaden Stone injured his head in a moment. But first things first, Tigers 5 for their last 6. And Jaden Stone igniting this latest Missouri run.
They've really just taken over the game. And they did this in the first half. They need to be able to do this throughout, maintain, sustain this. And I said, I think he hurt himself. Yeah, it's padded, but it doesn't mean it's not going to hurt. That's got to hurt. You don't feel anything right now. Like, of all the bumps and bruises you get in a game, you really don't feel it until later at night. And all of a sudden, you go to stand up and you realize you can't move. That's a good look, though. Good option.
I would agree with that. Jaden Stone, one of 5 seniors being honored today post-game here on the final day of the regular season in the SEC. And the Tigers a 1-point lead. They're going to make sure the uniform is clean, too. That's important.
And the floor. We got a little cleanup on the floor. It looks like an MMA mat.
Good call by the training staff. And remember, the final Saturday, the men's regular season rolls on today. Florida heads up to Rupp Arena to tangle with Mark Pope and the Cats. 4 o'clock Eastern here on ESPN. Carolina and Duke at 6:30. Dennis Gates going to provide his own assistance. Auburn, Alabama tonight. Texas Tech, BYU. Place to be. ESPN, and the chuckling of one John Crispin in the background.
I'm sorry, you're paying bills over there. I'm just laughing at Dennis Gates out there spraying that way. Not sure what the solution is. Is it a hydrogen peroxide solution?
Dennis Gates' turnkey solution here in Columbia.
It's pretty incredible. I mean, I agree with him. I would want this thing to get back to play. By the way, we haven't mentioned Anthony Robinson's bedazzled shoes.
They were sparkling.
Do you see that?
I do.
That's epic.
They pop.
You guys wondering what NIL gets you. Be a nice ride in the parking lot and some Swarovski crystals on your shoes.
We saw a couple of those, did we not?
The mobiles?
Yes.
Yeah. Felt super insecure with my rental rolling up into that lot.
The Nissan Sentra? Wait, that was me.
I got a Pathfinder, though. All right, let's pick it back up. We don't want this crowd to have to build back up. Like, there was an opportunity to do this while we were at break.
You know, this crowd, they've been lathered up for this early 11 a.m. local time started. They're ready.
This is a great opportunity. Things lull a little bit. Really experienced players understand this is a great chance to get the crowd re-engaged. You would think we would have had this handled. Oh, that guy's got like a little hand sanitizer bottle. I don't know what that's going to do.
Oh, boy.
No. All right, let's go.
They got it. Patrick Evans gives us the thumbs up.
I mean, by the time the undercards are done in MMA, the mat looks like a mess anyway, and that's part of the sale. Let's go. This is what this game's been. Good Lord.
Jaden Stone, meanwhile, still on the bench. Like, this is all a result of his dunk and knocking his head on the backboard / rim.
All right, well, for Missouri, use it.
Use the cut to your advantage.
Yes.
I feel like this is a Seinfeld episode somewhere.
Usually is.
Here's Costanza. Barrett right on top of Wagner. Let him shoot the 3. You're okay with that?
I am okay with that. I think that stays here. That's going to be an issue. Got spaced out. No one in there to rebound. I think you just forced the toughest shot possible percentage-wise. That's a late clock 3 for DJ Wagner.
Wagner in the starting lineup in place of Darius Acup Jr. Richmond, Ewan lost the handle. Opening for the Tigers, and now an offensive foul.
I think the fouls on ball screens and handoffs are basically just going to lead to everything is ghosted. Like, that's a good screen, in my opinion. I think it's a good screen, but when you make it a point of emphasis to clean up ball screen and handoff situations, you look for it, so it creates an imbalance. Like freedom of movement, well, all you do is call every foul. You also need to have a counterbalance that is freedom of contact.
You thought that was a good screen. John Stockton does too. Inside. And Brazil. Going to be fouled. Phillips Jr. can't believe it. That'll be his third.
I think something we have done well, whether I got this one right or not, is the wall up. Yeah, you got to jump. That's the problem. Sean Phillips, he's got a case, but he's going to lose the case because you got to jump. If you want to wall up, you can't be walking into him. You've got to just go straight up and create a wall.
You could put a camera on Sean Phillips Jr. for a 40-minute game and be thoroughly entertained.
Yeah, oh yeah, he's animated. Nope.
Brazil has been stuck on 16 for a minute. Great start for the former Tiger coming back to Columbia, who just concluded his senior night at Bud Walton.
He's been stuck on that because Malik Thomas has been unreal.
For 2 at the line.
That's where Darius Acuff really comes in. He manages the game so well and keeps the floor balanced. Malik Thomas has been great, but it kind of creates limitations.
Mitchell was clearing a path against Brazil.
Nope.
Pops out to Wagner, ahead to Richmond. Swatted away by Pierce.
I think you still have to be a little more patient if you're Missouri, because a lot of those misses have led to runouts. You're looking to attack the offensive glass. You got bigs flat. There have been runouts on bad misses.
Richmond, Ewan, no! Phillips the block. Oh, and a wry grin on the way back down the court. He'll tell Stone to slow it down for a minute. Oh, Phillips wants this. Little shake, little bake, big man move. Not that time.
He wants a foul on that one. That's hilarious.
Shot clock down to 7. Malik Ewan, double team, bear hug, and a jump ball. Back to Mizzou.
All right, Mark Mitchell has to be the one making the play here. You've had a couple just iffy possessions for Missouri at a time when the crowd is ready to just explode. Find a way to create space for Mark Mitchell and just trust that he'll make the right play. Particularly at a time when T.O. Barrett's off the floor. You got Jacob Cruz going to space it. Smaller lineup. I like this.
The senior on senior day goes to work. He'll shoot 2.
That's the only thing that can happen. And then you have Pierce and Cruz spacing the floor, which means you can't leave those guys. It's either going to be he scores 2 in the paint, gets 2 opportunities at the free throw line, or you make the decision that over help and you give up an open 3 to a high percentage three-point shooter.
Foul was called on Billy Richmond. That's his 3rd.
And this is, you're going to bring Ewan back in. I don't think it matters. I like this small lineup for Missouri.
Arkansas has already clinched the double bye in Nashville. And based off the results today, carry them around in that top 4. Can't win it. Thomas. Stone grabs it.
Biggest key, smaller lineup. Guards have to be rebounders.
Mitchell, a monster step in traffic. Out of bounds, it'll stay on this end. And Mizzou, of course, can clinch a double bye with a win and a Vanderbilt victory in Knoxville in the game that follows us on Rocky Top.
I think if you're huddling up and you're a part of this Missouri group on the floor right now, you've got to be talking, yeah, what you want to do offensively, that's one thing. Create space, that's all you got to do with a small lineup. On the defensive end, guards have to know they have to be active rebounders from the perimeter in.
Mitchell again. Right side attack and a chance for 3.
believe that Mark Mitchell's going to go up with the right hand. He's sitting and waiting for the spin, and he's keeping him from spinning back to the middle. But Mark Mitchell able to finish through the contact with the right hand. That's good stuff.
Third foul on Ewan. Mitchell has 25. The lead is 5 for the home team. Wagner weaves his way to the rack.
That's what he can do. I think it's good. Do what you do is a great thing to tell guys. Be confident in the things that you do well. And DJ Wagner has been good getting to the basket when he has an angle and has an advantage.
Mitchell missed it. Brazil clears.
I think Mitchell's tired. Can't imagine why.
It's been a beast. Wagner, Richmond, the lob, and Malik Ewan smashes that one home.
That was really pretty late on the rotations, and if you're a smaller lineup and you get stuck, just call out a switch. But you're chasing the rotation, and pretty basketball play on the inside. Interior passing led to a lob for Ewan. Oh, this is getting good.
62-61. Approaching 7 minutes to play on senior day. Emotions running high inside Mizzou Arena on a Saturday afternoon in the Show Me State. Brisbane, Roy Philpott, and the Tigers trying their very best to protect this home floor in a very entertaining matchup. 3 ties, 3 lead changes, all coming in our second half today. Timeout was called by Dennis Gates. Approaching 7 to play. Robinson open. Long triple in Brazil. Skies for the rebound.
When Brazil jumps for a rebound, everybody else just gives up. It's hilarious.
You know, when I said skies, it literally is. He is head above the rim, looking down upon society. Good matchup here. Stone on Thomas. Thomas, lightning quick, gets the roll. He's got 23.
He's such a threat because the threat starts from the three-point line. So you have to be up. You're going to be off balance as a defender. So when you start moving east to west, keep that defender off balance. You got to take that shot away. He's a tough cover.
Arkansas back in front. Mitchell too strong. Pierce pinballs a rebound. Ewan claims it for Arkansas.
Pierce and Stone had that. They took it away from one another.
Now the bleeding is stopped for Jaden Stone. That's the good news. We've yet to see him enter attack mode since that scrape on the backboard. Rare miss for Thomas. Phillips saves it. Hesitation. Robinson. Well, that's one way to do it. He'll shoot 2. Third foul on DJ Wagner. Anthony Robinson the second. Part of the SEC All-Defensive team a year ago. Coming off the bench these days, and he has done a nice job as a team captain, accepting that role with the emerging T.O. Barrett. We've seen a lot of Ant Robinson so far today.
I've seen a lot of his shoes.
You do like the shoes.
Still not over that.
Dazzling.
Bedazzling.
That too. Pure on the free throw. That'll stop a 6-0 run by the Hogs, and we're tied. Barrett back in. Stone checks out.
I want to see from T.O. Barrett is him just feel the game. Understand moments that you've got to get a good one. Understand moments where you need to stop and you need extra communication. Feel when your team is tired. Those are the moments that you've got to be able to capitalize on. Guys get tired, you got to communicate even more.
Does it say anything that Dennis Gates has 2 point guards on the floor right now with Barrett and Robinson? And we've seen that a good bit this year.
I think defense also matters.
Richmond with a step. The skip pass. Barrett right in the grill of Thomas.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Did he get him? Oh, I didn't see that. I thought that was good defense and running the other way.
The foul was on Barrett.
Yeah.
That's a big call there. Phillips will let you know.
Yeah, he let you know, all right. The two-handed swat. He's had a couple of them. I just don't know. In this situation, probably don't know. You bail out a poor performing offensive possession. But a foul's a foul, right? Doesn't matter what time it is.
Thomas is yet to miss from three-point range.
I would be an official that never got an NCAA tournament game.
You wouldn't grade out all that well.
No, I wouldn't grade that well at all, but people would actually like me because I'd say, hey,
let him play.
That moment, yeah, it didn't matter. That play didn't matter. Bad offensive possession. I'm not rewarding that.
Hawks back in front.
A lot of nuance in my call.
Yes. You talk about officials needing to wear gray instead of black and white because that's the area in which a lot of calls reside. And Robinson fouled on the way up.
See, what I like about that, that's an experienced guy understanding a call didn't go our way. So let us go get one ourselves. That's a big-time play.
Third foul on Thomas. So that becomes critical, especially with no Darius Acuff Jr.
A little more critical if it's 4. I think you still could play freely right now.
Tied again at 65. Now this game has lived up to the expectation even without Acuff on the floor. Mizzou has battled back after a tough loss in Norman, and Arkansas has been in the flow without its star point guard. Two teams headed to the NCAA tournament. Mizzou, part of the last 4 buys listed by Joe Lenardi, and they certainly passed the eye test. And Wagner.
Oh, wow, what a bailout. What a bailout. I mean, going nowhere.
Oh, that's the 4th on Phillips.
That's an absolute bailout. Guy going nowhere. And you bail out yet another bad possession. Now, in the end, these things absolutely, when it's hard to see it, they go both ways. They absolutely go both ways. It's hard to see that in the moment, but it does. 4 on Phillips is an issue.
8 points, 4 fouls.
So they're going to go small. I like it. I like it. Go small. You can probably live at the free throw line if you go small. Get yourselves into the double bonus by continuing to be the aggressor and attack. But you've got to do so with space. This is a lineup that can create space.
Game has turned into a free throw shooting contest the last 2 minutes. Pace is bogged down. Barrett off the bounce. T.O. Barrett.
You got room. You've got room to curl, get to the rim, and that's just a good big-time finish.
Malik Ewing. The jam in traffic. Hawks by 2.
I said, I think Mark Mitchell's tired. He got off balance defensively and just got shoved out of the way.
Robinson will back it out. There are 4 minutes remaining. 6 points now for Ewing. Stone wants it, so does Mitchell. Gets it back. Ewing claims the rebound. A moment there. Hawks with the lead and possession. High-level hoops in Columbia today. Thomas draws a double team. Skips it over to Wagner. Pops to Brazil. And a jump ball. It'll stay with the Hogs.
Oh, man, it's getting interesting. You go smaller lineup, you got to capitalize on what you can do first by creating space and what comes of it. Yes, that's what comes of it. Open driving lanes and an opportunity for a pretty finish. That's just a big man doing work. Mark Mitchell getting worn down. He's going to have to buckle up. But if you create action for Thomas, it's going to open up opportunities for others, Billy Richmond included.
And Brazil's had quite the last 2 games, a rebound short of a double-double, and go back to what he did against Texas. Career high 28, bottled up here, timer down to 4. Thomas, Brazil, who wants it? Shot clock violation, and Mizzou defensively stout.
You just have to understand, you at least have to get a shot on the rim. Shot clock violation, those are turnovers that you cannot have, particularly this late in the game where you allow Missouri to come down and get something going. Phillips playing with the 4 fouls.
Tigers have been rock solid in games decided by 5 points or less. 8 wins and 10 tries. Robinson. Here's Mitchell. Tough shot. Flamed against the rim. Phillips, fresh 20. Didn't need it. Tied at 69. And a double-double for Sean Phillips Jr. on senior day. Third of the season for him, 6th of his career.
They're just trying to get Thomas the ball.
Richmond. Swipe by Ewing. Puts it up and in with a bounce.
Wow, that Phillips got lost. Phillips didn't get a body, and Ewing's able to just come through, keep it alive. That should have been T.O. Barrett. Sometimes bigs have to engage with the defender or the offensive player, box out, but trust that your guard's going to do the job. T.O. Barrett would have done it.
Hawks by 2. Mark Mitchell time. Tigers in the bonus, free throws coming.
I mean, this is almost like pass blocking where you have to trust that your running back's going to pick up the linebacker who's blitzing. Sean Phillips has to get engaged with Ewing when that shot goes up and trust that T.O. Barrett is going to pick up anything else, including the basketball.
4th foul on Billy Richmond, the 3rd. Wagner's got 3. Ewing has 3. Thomas has 3. Big free throws. Mitchell sitting on 25 points.
It's also fair to point out late game situations, it feels like, to the fans, it feels like officials are starting to tighten the game up. It's also due to the fact that players are worn out and tired. They're a step behind the play. They tend to foul a little bit more when you're a step behind.
Mark Mitchell approaching career high territory. 27 on the board, tied at 71. DJ Wagner will call the timeout. John Calipari going to talk things over. And we are back in 30 seconds.
That's where the floor opens up. That's where offensive rebounding for Ewing starts to open up. That's where Trevin Brazil is able to have an impact. But watch how the action will flow towards Thomas, who's been the biggest threat on the floor tonight for Arkansas.
Thomas, mid-range. There it is.
All the action, the pin down, the screen, curling that screen, shooting high over the top. Everything was set to get Thomas a look. Completely different late game situation. Why? Because the best player in the country, Darius Acuff, isn't playing.
Thomas with 27. The lob to Mitchell. And a chance for 3.
It's always good when we don't have to say much after a make. The crowd does it for you. It's the type of game we're in. We can break down a lot, but the reality is it's going to come down to playmakers making plays and trying to avoid the big mistake. I will tell you this, though. As you head into the SEC tournament and the NCAA tournament, Malik Thomas has found a new gear, and that matters. Trevin Brazil understands a higher level of responsibility. That matters. Because ultimately, when you get your dog back at Darius Acuff, you are a different team, but a more complete team at that.
To that point, the first SEC game that we've seen Thomas go for 25 plus. He's got 27.
Yeah.
And that last shot, as tough a make as we've seen today.
It's the shot you have to be able to get off if you're Thomas. Everything's been run for you. Everything's flowing through you. You make that shot. That's a game changer. The problem is not enough ball pressure, allowing a pass over the top to a Mark Mitchell who seems to finish everything around the rim. Free throws are going to matter. If you're Missouri, you can't just get back on defense. You make this free throw, you pick up and just disrupt rhythm. Remember, it's a different Arkansas. You're not going to disrupt much of Darius Acuff, but can you be disruptive with DJ Wagner, keeping him from initiating an offense with ease?
Mitchell for the lead. And a season-high 30 on senior day. And it sounds like March at Mizzou. Thomas in traffic. And we'll shoot two.
Arkansas has had a number of possessions that weren't great possessions, but when you get into ISO ball situations late in the game, it is hard not to foul. And I actually like the simple clear out. The worst thing you can do in that situation is bring a ball screen and more attention to the ball handler, the guy that you want to have the ball in his hands. Malik Thomas has been everything for Arkansas today.
Malik Thomas.
Nope.
Short.
This place is nuts.
And Dennis Gates will call a timeout here in between free throws.
I don't mind it. Ice him even more.
Timeout on the floor as we step aside. Let's get you back to the studio. Kevin Connors, what do you got?
Boy, they are underway in Knoxville right now. A fast start for Vanderbilt, a 6-0 lead. A.K. Akiraki's got 4 for the Commodores. Tennessee playing for the right to get a double bye in the SEC tournament next week. 6-0, it's on ESPN News. You'll see it here on ESPN after you go final, Roy, in Columbia.
KC, we look forward to that. And if Mizzou wins this game, if they can find a way to hold on, Missouri fans near and far will be rooting against the Volunteers and rooting for Vanderbilt, because if Vandy can win on the road, that means Mizzou gets the double bye in Nashville with a win here against Arkansas.
First and foremost, if you're Missouri, you've got to remind guys, we need to secure a rebound if there's a miss. If he makes, we're tied. We will play for pretty much the last shot. That doesn't mean you need to sit with the basketball for 30 seconds and then take a bad one and play for overtime. You want to get the movement going offensively. You want to get a defense chasing. You can't play stagnant for 20 seconds just to take a bad one hoping it goes in. If you get a good look early, so be it. It's probably not going to be a 3. But I think the last thing you want to do if you're Missouri is walk the ball up and just dribble it out until you take a bad shot late. You want to move so you can create space. So by the time the ball gets to a guy like Mark Mitchell, he has room to make a play and finish this game in a way that this crowd would certainly appreciate.
They are coming unglued in Columbia today.
They were never glued.
At one point they were, back early this morning, right after breakfast, right after brunch.
I think they woke up ready. This has been electric. And both teams have helped with that. This has been a great game.
One free throw for the freshman Malik Thomas for the tie.
2 rebounders in for Arkansas.
Drained it. That matches his career high with 28.
can't waste too much time just standing around and allow the defense to set.
Dennis Gates saying slow it down for a second. 2-second differential, maybe a second and a half between the clocks.
I think you make it a little easier for the defense here, unless you're going to lift them this way. Who's going to help?
There's the double team, and Robinson got trapped. He'll call the timeout.
Well, you got two bigs on the floor. You're not concerned with Phillips if you can't make the pass over the top. So the length coming up took away any pass over the top. You had no outlet. I actually think that favors Missouri. They had nothing going on that possession. Where were you going to go anyway? You just stood there with the basketball. The defense was all staring. I think this puts you in a situation where so long as you can get the ball in quickly, you're going to have an opportunity with action. And sometimes the action's not about getting a score. Sometimes the good action is about allowing the defense to make a mistake. You have to put guys in position that the defense can make a mistake and give you an open look.
Mizzou out of timeouts. How big of a deal is that at this juncture?
Got to get the ball in bounds. I mean, what's even bigger is you have to be telling everybody there are no timeouts. We can't make that mistake. Get the ball in bounds and be quick about your business once you get it.
Final day of the SEC's regular season. It has been incredible with this atmosphere and this kind of contest between two rivals. Tied 74. So 7.2 to go on the game clock. Only 5 seconds on the shot clock here.
In late game situations and where you got the last shot, I always like if you have a timeout, waste 10, 15 seconds, then call the timeout and say now it's time to play, right? But 7 seconds, I would say if I'm a defender, I could defend for 7 seconds. Really, it's 5. 5 on the clock, remember that.
Who wants to be the hero? Barrett, the clean catch. T.O. Barrett on the drive, the Euro. Couldn't get it to go, and it's overtime.
I see a lot of Mizzou coaches, and there's a lot of them, with the swizzle stick trying to figure out, now game's over, time for overtime. If I'm Missouri right now, don't hang your head. Don't be frustrated about that. You've got 5 minutes to win this basketball game. T.O. Barrett got a decent enough look. The question is, you have shot clock going off there. When is the game clock in? That's the challenge. We got a little mixed up because there was about a 1.5 second differential.
It feels like overtime makes sense in a game like this today. And we've seen superstars going back and forth in different ways, beginning with Mark Mitchell.
I think you got two guys that made the plays that their team needed them to make. And as the game progressed, the team understood what they needed to do to help their playmakers make plays. Now, for Missouri, it was create space for Mark Mitchell. For Arkansas, it was run good stuff and allow Malik Thomas to take over this basketball in a game in a way that Darius Acuff would. Now, he's not going to be Darius Acuff. Neither is DJ Wagner. But you can still run good stuff to the stretch, play to the strengths, and maximize the potential of Malik Thomas. And that's just what John Calipari's done.
Thomas has matched his career high with 28. Mitchell 1 point shy of tying his career high with 30. The second overtime game for both squads. Arkansas, of course, lost the thriller in Tuscaloosa in double OT a few weeks back with Acuff going for 49. And Mizzou won here at home in a pivotal matchup against Oklahoma. A couple of buzzer beaters with Trent Pierce and Mitchell with the honors that day.
That was the World's Under Snow game, right? Like, I was supposed to call that game, couldn't get flights.
You were supposed to be here.
It turned out to be a really good one, and then we spent the next 3 weeks with about 1.5 feet of snow everywhere.
Well, it's been a toasty afternoon in Columbia.
This has been great. I mean, God bless the fans here. This is what college basketball is all about. I don't know, there's a lot to figure out in the college game with NIL and everything else, but man, it's pretty darn good.
Tigers control the opening tip to begin overtime number 1. A lot on the line for both sides, but in particular for Mizzou, trying to strengthen its SEC seeding next week in Nashville. Barrett, the spin, the pump fake. Good defense by Wagner. Held his ground. Ewan has shown more confidence in the grown man's game in this second half. Now in OT, Arkansas back in front.
He's got the size advantage, and if he can advance the ball closer to the rim against Mark Mitchell, who has played a lot of minutes, and I said for the last 10 minutes, he's been tired. Keep attacking.
Ewan with 10 points, 5 boards. Tapped out by Pringle, 14 to shoot.
That's not there. That's not a pass you can make. Not in this situation. You need a good possession. And you're trying to go high-low from 30 feet to Sean Phillips. It's not exactly your 1A option.
Darius Acuff Jr. has been John Calipari's top coaching assistant today. He's been in and out of the huddle and talking to his guys, trying to get that left ankle back to 100%. He'll get about a 9-day layoff before the SEC tournament. There is Trent Pierce. Tigers back in front. Pierce with 13. Thomas directing traffic. Baseline. Ewan saw the rebound. Wagner's short. Phillips fell down. Back to Missouri.
Yeah, they want to review it. They were waiting. They look behind the bench. That poor assistant that has to make that decision and live with it either way.
He's shaking with the iPad in his hands.
Oh, God. Look, it's not like it's early in the game. This is not early in the game. Every moment matters right now. And that job that you thought you wanted, you sure don't right now. Just good activity on the offensive glass for Arkansas. They've been aggressive getting after it. I think he was out of bounds anyway.
He came down out of bounds. And by default, right, that should be Arkansas basketball.
The dead ball. It's out of bounds on Missouri. If that's the question, who's it out of bounds off of, then they can get that right. Even though they didn't see his foot touch, the question is, who's the ball out of bounds on? Well, this is going to determine that it's going to be Arkansas ball. I know you can't see a foul and then say, well, actually, we missed a foul. We're going to put that on. No, they're questioning who the ball is out of bounds on. That's obvious.
John Calipari has been rejuvenated in Vanderbilt. His team nearly made it to the Elite Eight last year. Hopes to get back even further this year.
Fans are looking at the replay here and they're thinking that the last touch was Pringle with his finger, but that's not the case. It's Phillips touching the out of bounds underneath line.
That stops the play right there.
That's it. That's it. Out of bounds on Missouri, off of Missouri. It's going to be Arkansas ball. Be shocked otherwise.
Doug Shows, Rob Orton, Patrick Evans. And this should stay.
Review, the challenge by the head coach for Arkansas is confirmed and successful. It'll be red ball on the baseline with 20 seconds on the shot clock.
I love it. It couldn't have been more obvious, but it doesn't matter. Doug Shows is going to get booed. It's the right call, and it's a good challenge. You just wonder, did they challenge thinking that it was actually out of bounds, or did they see the foot?
Ends up being a good challenge either way.
Yeah, it is, and now you got an opportunity. I think you continue to use Malik Thomas. Run him off screens. The more action you run for one guy who's been the biggest threat, the more opportunity you give for a defense to make a mistake. He's been that good, so he is going to draw two if somebody gets held up on a screen, which is going to create opportunity for somebody else. Also, a big lineup on the floor with Pringle and Ewan for Arkansas, with Brazil.
You're tuning in looking for Tennessee and Vanderbilt. We will get you to Rocky Top when we are done here in Columbia, Missouri. Inside, and Pringle, wow, well above the rim, got it to go.
And how about Thomas? playing the playmaker role, making the right decision, getting the ball where only his teammate can get it.
Hawks back in front. That game currently being aired on ESPN News between the Vols and the Commodores. Robinson forced one up.
That's not a good shot. You can ask for a foul, but the reality is that's just not a good shot. Poor recognition of the situation.
Wagner with a jump stop. Ewan for three. Big bucket from the big man. Wow. His third three-pointer of this season.
Oh, that hurts. And now you're taking the timeout as much to get T.O. Barrett back in the game as anything else. But Arkansas, I mean, go back to that. How big was the review? To make the call to say, Swizzle Stick, review that. That was the first play. And then Ewan spacing the floor, getting the kick and training the three. 4-point lead. Arkansas feeling good. The fact that all of the action running through him is putting the defense in a bad spot. It's opening up the game for everybody else. He's been terrific, both ends of the floor, because he's also defended really well.
Value for Arkansas next week in Nashville and in March Madness when you consider
Absolutely.
that Thomas has gotten all this production and the game has been on his shoulders, it feels like, for the last couple of minutes.
Well, the game's only going to get easier when Acup's back.
Out of the timeout, Mitchell. Back to the free throw line and a chance for Mark Mitchell to establish a new career high.
Well, you also have to establish yourselves, if you're Missouri, in this extra contest here. It's been all Arkansas. And I go back to that review. The review was huge. That review led to 4 straight points for Arkansas, which is the lead they've got right now with 2:10 left to play.
Fourth foul on Nick Pringle. By the way, we mentioned going out to that last break. Malik Ewan, third three of the season. He's now 3 of 4. Can Coach Cal draw up some more plays for the Arkansas big?
But the fact of the matter is they don't have to. They ain't covering them anyway.
New career high for Mark Mitchell. 1 possession game, 2:10 to go in overtime.
Big lineup on the floor for both teams.
Thomas was open, is again. First miss from downtown.
It's funny, he almost had to work too hard to get open and rush the shot. Took him out of rhythm.
Barrett the lob. Phillips the finish, and we are tied. Arkansas calls a timeout.
This is good stuff. T.O. Barrett, but also Sean Phillips. Then he wanted the foul on that play. I like that they didn't call it. Phillips has really figured a lot out. He's done a lot with 4 fouls, too. We got to give him credit. I think both teams have good size on the floor. Arkansas has gone to a bigger lineup, using a lot of those guys as screeners, but you have to understand, it might be Ewan again that gets open. I don't think you want to trust and rely on him to knock down another 3, but with a bigger lineup, using them as screeners with so much of the attention going to Thomas coming off, look for Brazil to maybe set screens and slip. When you're worried about Thomas, you get consumed by the fact that he's the threat, and you forget about the fact that a simple slip for Brazil could lead to a wide open layup or dunk. Even a pick and pop situation if good screens are set. And DJ Wagner has to do a good job of getting himself angles to make the right pass that allows somebody who's open to make the play.
Now Wagner, in Acup Jr.'s absence, 10 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 turnovers, but he's done a nice job and a calming job.
He's been better than solid, and I think that's all you can ask. It's not an insult. It's like a half compliment, I guess, but he's been better than solid in a situation that is more difficult than you understand. You're playing a different role than you've been playing pretty much all season, and he's done it really well.
Out of the timeout, 92 seconds remaining in overtime. 12 ties, 10 lead changes. Who wants it late? Thomas looked right over Barrett. Gets it back from Pringle. Double team. Gives it up. Wagner. Pringle, though. Pierce grabs it. Mizzou 3-1 against AP top 25 teams in this venue this season. 15-2 is the home record. They have been elite. And Pierce looking down, coming in to Phillips. On the lob, he comes up short, but will shoot two.
Mark Mitchell's just worn out. I mean, as anybody should be. He was worn out, got himself into a tough spot. Luckily, the deflection allowed him to take a retreat dribble, get the thing to T.O. Barrett where he was able to throw the lob. Now, if you're Arkansas, you're not going to have the size in the lineup that you once had with Pringle out. You still need to be able to play with space on the offensive end. I think the bigger lineup, and granted it's Pierce and Mitchell and Phillips, is giving Missouri a bit of an advantage, particularly defensive rebounding, where you've got to shore up a good possession with a rebound and a run out.
Well, advantage in terms of personnel for Mizzou, considering Billy Richmond III is fouled out. Nick Pringle just fouled out. No Darius Acuff Jr. And you're shooting a couple of free throws at the line with Sean Phillips.
And Silly's going to come in. He hasn't played a ton, but he did play a good amount of minutes in the first half. Let me just tell you this, though. These minutes are different. The game is different. I think you've got to be paying attention, but also maintain feel when you're on the bench, so when you do get back in, you've been feeling how this game has shifted. I think it's easier said than done, particularly when you're 18, 19, 20 years old.
Saw the numbers on Phillips. Now 2 of 3. He'll get one more. 52% on the season. The senior. Dayton, Ohio. Tigers back in front.
And I like that simple thing of just disrupting DJ Wagner to not allow Arkansas to get into the set they want to run, which is going to absolutely include Thomas.
Brazil's open for 3. Buries it. Oh, net.
Oh, Mitchell got lost. He got lost, and he's tired. You don't have time to be tired with less than a minute on the clock. Big shot by Trevin Brazil.
Started his career here in Columbia. Inside and a turnover. Thomas tracks it down. And a timeout is called. What a sequence for the Hogs on the road. Trevin Brazil with 19 points.
Being tired puts you a step or two behind the play, and sometimes mentally, there it is, you're just not closing out hard enough if you're Mark Mitchell. And then on the other end, sometimes being tired leads you to make poor decisions, and that has happened. Arkansas continue to fight. Look, I'm learning more about Arkansas than anybody else. We have said so much about what Darius Acuff Jr. is, and I think he's the best player in college basketball. The guy moves the game. Talk about gravity. He can move things where he wants. Call him the sun. You're playing without him, and you've played a level up where you have played with more intensity. Your defense has been better. The buy-in to play through Thomas. The big shot ability by Trevin Brazil. Playing with guys who have foul trouble and then trusting the guys who are going to come in. Playing with different rotations. I think that's another thing that's more challenging than people understand. But Mizzou's got to buckle up right now. Understand you don't have time to be tired. It's time to fight. 21 on the clock. I would put it in the hands of DJ Wagner. Pressure and get ready to foul.
Hawks just in the regular bonus. No 2 guaranteed free throws just yet. The shot clock is off, so looking for the quick steal for Mizzou. And if not, then perhaps an early foul. Got to get it in, out of timeouts. Dangerous toss.
I'm going to call foul. And Robinson didn't need to do that. You hold your ground and go after the ball. All Ewan can do is foul. He had position. And this is good defense, great defense. Might not be a bad foul, though. Although you were feeling good after that three-point made.
Ewan 0 for 2 at the stripe today, 73% coming into the game.
Now Robinson on the perimeter has to be ready for a tap-out rebound. He should be closer to Thomas.
Off the mark, Brazil, saved by Barrett. Here we go. An opening for Mizzou. Barrett turns it over. Wagner comes away with it. Oh my goodness, what happened there?
He just dribbled into nowhere. Dribbled into where all the defenders were. There's just nowhere to go. Great and look, sometimes we say bad play by the offense. Let's commend the defense. They all turned and found the basketball. Great transition defense by Arkansas to stop that initial surge, allowing all the other defenders to get into play. TJ Wagner almost just lost the ball. Oh my goodness. Did you see that? He spun it and almost lost it.
He missed the free throw. He's got one more. Hogs in the double bonus here.
Remember last possession, Arkansas almost came up with a rebound. Another opportunity.
All to the right. Ewan with the rebound, and he was shoved out of bounds.
And not having Phillips in the game for that rebound's a killer. You don't have the size in the game. Arkansas is crashing hard. Mark Mitchell, again, tired. A tired Mark Mitchell just gets shoved under the rim. And two possessions, well, the first possession, Missouri came up with it. This one goes Arkansas's way.
Big free throw, still a one-possession game. One more coming for Malik Ewan.
Just missed opportunities for Missouri here down the stretch.
That was his first make. Now his second two-possession game.
It's got to be quick. Got to be quick.
Barrett the crossover against Seeley. He'll get the bucket. And a quick foul. It'll be back to the free throw line. Two free throws again.
I mean, you just think about how fragile winning is when you think about just a couple possessions, a couple plays that Arkansas makes, some plays that Mizzou doesn't. Can absolutely dictate the outcome of the game. And I go back to the Swiss stick, the review. It switched everything over where Arkansas took control of the game. The big Ewan three, the lob to Pringle. And since then, Mizzou's just been hanging on.
Robinson just fouled out. Cruz checks in. Ewan in the face of that student section. Clutch.
Now, if he missed, if I was Arkansas, I'd put a couple guys up on the line and tell him, don't foul, just be there. At this point, you make it, it's all but over.
Both teams out of timeouts. Ewan gets the roll. And the Hogs with a 4-point lead. Barrett, desperation heave. Off the mark, and that'll do it in overtime without Darius Acup Jr. The Hogs find a way, 88-84 on the final day of the regular season in the SEC.